What's up, everybody? Ty Bartellin with another edition of Coach's Corner. This time I am joined with new skipper in town over at the Canfield Cardinals baseball program, Mr. Matt Weymer, joining me today. Coach Weymer, how we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad. How are you doing? How's the excitement gearing up for opening day? Just a couple weeks away. How's the kids looking? How's the program looking?
Yeah, I mean we're obviously really excited. The weather helps this week. When you see a bunch of sixes and sevens starting instead of threes or fours, you
Yeah.
get pretty excited. So I think it's always easier when you get outside on a field and you kind of feel the sunshine and it really starts to feel like you're actually going to play. Some seasons the run up. You're inside the whole time. It's miserable, and that can really wear on the kids sometimes. So we've been lucky to get outside on the turf a little bit, and I think this week we'll be on the field a lot, which is great. And so that always helps with morale. The kids have been great. We've tried to keep what we thought were the best parts of the program, and then reintroduce some stuff that brings some new stuff in. And no matter what we've asked them to do, obviously they've answered the call very well. So we're very excited to get the season going. This is the time of the year when you just kind of wanted to get here, and it's almost like you wish you could get a waiver, and be like, "Hey, it's so nice today. Can we play game one today?" And then kind of do it like that. But hopefully the weather holds and we have a great year weather-wise.
Yeah. With Northeast Ohio, man, you never know, too. It could be snowing an opening day in a couple weeks. It could be 75 and beautiful.
That's right.
We just never know. I know you guys have a pretty decent wealth of senior leaders that have been able to been there, done that, have some experience in some big games, and have a lot of varsity experience. What's the team look like to kind of an introduce the team segment to? What's this Cardinal squad going to look like this year?
Yeah, we have a very diverse, I guess, group. We only lost 2 kids from last year. So we'll have 8 seniors, some of them with multiple years of varsity experience. The right side of the infield with David Murphy and Tanner Stricker. Those are multi-year letter winners. Zane Jadala in the outfield is a multi-year letter winner. Dylan Mancini is going to be our catcher behind the plate, multi-year letter winner. We were lucky enough to have Seth Walker transfer in from Heartland Christian to add a little bit more on the mound and give him a shot over there at third base potentially. And then Sean Harrington, Noah Anzavino, those are 2 arms that have varsity experience. Then Gage Watson joins the crew as kind of like the 8th senior, and he'll have a real good chance to contribute, especially with the bat. So a lot of seniors, small juniors, only 3 juniors in the program. Some of them got a little taste of varsity last year, but most of them will be looking to play significant time for really the first time in their varsity career. And then our sophomore class is the class that got a lot of run last year as freshmen. A lot of those, I think there were 4 or 5, the kids that lettered as freshmen last year that will be back. And that's really exciting because you see flashes when they're 15 years old, but it's really hard to execute at a high level with 15-year-olds when you're playing 18-year-olds. So they've played baseball now at that level for a year. They did a great job. All of our kids did a great job getting stronger in the offseason. Nate Fleming, who does our JV and our weightlifting, deserves a ton of credit for that. Physically, they're stronger. I think going through the down parts of last year will help this year for sure. And we're really counting on those guys to really make a big impact for us.
Canfield baseball is a culture of success too. It's just known to usually have successful teams year in and year out with the program. When you talk about what some of your kind of core values are that you look to kind of add and help define this program too, what would some of those would you say be?
Yeah, like I said, I had the luxury of being on staff here for the 3 years before this. So, I got a real good inside look at the program. And like I said, this is, I think when I first got the job, DJ asked me, and I said it was like a sports car that needed an oil change. Canfield is a baseball powerhouse for a long time. This is certainly not a situation where you're coming in and you're starting from scratch. There is so much good here. I think about community support. I think about facilities. I think about financial support. I think about just the passion kids out here have for baseball. I was at a youth clinic with a bunch of our kids yesterday for CBC, and you got dozens of kids down there at the Watts Center running around. Baseball has just always kind of been in the lifeline here at Canfield, and so that's really exciting to be a part of. And then for me, coming in, I think the biggest thing that I wanted to do year one was just really improve our day-to-day. Make sure that, we have a plan for every day, make sure that we're executing that day's plan. Again, we won 19 games last year. We bring a lot of that team back. It doesn't mean we'll be better or we'll be worse, but it's simply like, hey, on this day, here are the things we really want to hone in on and focus on. And, you want to leave the field that day feeling like you really accomplished whatever your goal was for that day. So I think for year one, yeah, I'm just really trying to improve the day-to-day of the program, what practice looks like every day. Just trying to really hone in on the process. So that way, when we get out on the field, hopefully we keep winning like we always have. But now when you get on those bigger moments, the preparation day to day pays off in a bigger way.
When we talk about coaching, and you've had a chance to, like you said, be a coach with this team too, and assistant wise before the season, what are some of the most rewarding parts of being a coach in your personal experience?
I mean, being a teacher as well. I mean, you spend so much time with kids, and you just it really is a calling. There really is just something about spending time with young people. I always joke with the kids at school where I teach at Springfield, like some of the slang they use that I have no idea what they're talking about, and I think on some level it keeps you very young. It keeps you energetic. You kind of have to be to keep up with them. So that's a reward personally for me. But I mean, I think seeing kids grow. I think I was an assistant here, so I got to be a part of some of those staffs where we had guys that are playing in college right now, succeeding at a high level. That's always fun to look on your Twitter feed and see. AJ Havrilla had 7 RBIs in a game, or hit a home run, or Michael Patelis gets his first hit, or Vital Cheese threw a shutout. Those are really fun moments, but you really want to make sure that you're focused on the here and the now. Our program is designed for the kids that are in high school right now. So the focus has to be on them. And you just want them to be the best that they can be. Not every kid is going to be a Landon Vital Cheese and play Division I baseball, but you want kids to feel like they're a part of something as a culture, as a team, as a whole. And, you want them to leave here thinking that they maxed out their ability, whatever that is. If it's as a pitcher, a shortstop, a utility guy, someone who's our 4th outfielder, whatever their role is on the team, you want to make sure that they leave feeling like they got the most out of their experience. And that's kind of what we're trying to focus on. So when kids come back, I haven't had it obviously here at Canfield yet, but like at Springfield, I've been to 4 or 5 weddings of former players. I was in one, which was the thrill of a lifetime. So, I mean, like that stuff's really, really cool, but you try not to focus so much on the future. You really want to make sure that you get the most out of it right now because, high school goes by really fast and you just want to make sure the kids have the best experience possible.
That's awesome, man. That really is awesome. And you talked about it. You talked about just like team personalities as well, too, as I feel like something that kind of goes hand in hand with the culture and the experience. And you only lose a couple of guys from last year's team. What would you kind of describe the personality of this team? Because I feel like personality in diamond sports, you get to show it a lot more than maybe other sports.
Yeah, I mean, I think the camaraderie here has always been a huge positive for us at Canfield. Only losing 2 guys. A lot of these guys, again, come back. They've played together. And, we have programming all in the off season. We work a lot in small groups. We have lifting. So, I mean, like guys are constantly interacting with each other, feeling each other out, getting to know the new guys. We try to do like activities where the guys are together. We went to a Phantoms game. We did a YSU basketball game. So you're trying just to kind of introduce the kids to each other. And then, as a coach, you kind of want to just keep that train on the tracks in a way. I don't think there are some things from a culture standpoint that you would like to dictate, but there are a lot of things that kind of occur organically. And so you kind of just watch and make sure that everyone's kind of, doing their own thing and everyone's treating each other with respect and that the jokes don't get too far out of hand and, everyone's just enjoying being around each other because that's what it's about. This spring, we take a spring trip and we've had to kind of reinvent that. I don't get the full week off at Springfield. So we're going to Tennessee for 4 or 5 days, but we're taking everybody. Usually we only take the varsity. This year we're taking the JV. So it'll be all the kids together in a cabin. The JV has games, the varsity has games. So it's kind of going to be a good chance to get everybody rather than just like the varsity guys together. And that's really where it has to start. You want your seniors who have been here kind of imparting that wisdom on the freshmen. While we have a couple freshmen that might play a little bit of varsity this year, for the most part, they're separate. So the off season is really important because senior and freshmen spend time together. And Tennessee will be really important because senior and freshmen will spend time together. And, if you want your program to succeed, you want players leading players. I mean, coaches can do a lot. There's no doubt about that. But in the end, the best teams are the ones that play for each other. They don't play because, coaches dictating this or that. They play because they've played together forever and they enjoy being around each other. And that's something that passes down class to class on its own. You can't really make that happen. And Canfield's a special place where that seems to happen pretty naturally.
I love it, man. I love how you guys are able to kind of make a new experience now with them going to Tennessee too. And I love the philosophy behind that as well. Let's kind of look at the schedule this year too. I know the All American Conference always presents very fun games throughout the course of the season. Talk about some those games. Talk about the non-conference as well, and some matchups you're excited for.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Tennessee will be a lot of fun. Don't really know a lot about the teams down there, so we'll kind of figure that out as we go. I think the end of our schedule is really difficult, preparing us for the tournament. Obviously, the rivalry game with Poland, Ursuline's in that last week. South Range right up the roads. Nice to have them back on the schedule. Canton Central Catholic's a team that I played a lot when I was at Ursuline, so I'm happy to have them kind of back on the schedule. Obviously, like you said, in league, Boardman and Fitch are two teams that always play us really tough, and we have great games with them. Kind of seems like every year. We played two close games with Howland last year. Harding gave us a run in one game. So, we got West Branch, who won the state championship last year. Marlington, who's in that conference, who's always really good. I don't want to leave anybody out. Opening up with Mooney, who's got a young and up and coming team. Again, being here, you're in a great situation where you can play that kind of schedule. We have a lot of depth on the mound. Whenever it's dry outside, if we can play baseball, we'll play baseball. St. Ed's is coming down. We'll pick games up wherever we can. We want to play. We want to put our best out against everyone else's best. And again, having the depth that we have really gives us a chance to do that. So I think I rattled off like 17 games there, but obviously all the team. We got Talmadge at Kent State on a night game, which will be a lot of fun. So there's a lot of stuff for everyone in there, but we're really excited about the schedule and obviously putting our guys up against what we think is really good competition.
No doubt. Obviously, a beefed up schedule once again by Canfield baseball, and I really don't expect anything less.
Yeah.
When we talk about your kind of in-game decision making and that kind of process, are you more by the numbers or by the gut kind of guy in between? What's the decision making process going to be like for you now?
Well, I think a lot of that goes back to like putting together a staff. When I got hired, the first thing you have to do is you have to try to find people to put around you because any coach can't do this by themselves. So I mentioned Nate Fleming, who does our JV, like having someone with that background, that strength background, the ability to get kids really motivated in the weight room has been a huge plus for us. He's joined down there by Jimmy Whippo, who we got a couple weeks ago. We've heard great things about. So they'll run our JV. Then at the varsity, to go out and get a guy like Coach Scott Knox, who's, maybe the most seasoned mind in our area. Guy's been a head coach at a lot of different levels. He's just a practice guru. So having that there, the amount of days where we end practice and then for the next 25, 30 minutes, I sit there and talk with our coaches about what we want tomorrow to look like. Everyone's kind of throwing in their different ideas from their different experiences and having that's a really great resource. Eric Barone's the same thing. I've tried to get Eric Barone on staff when I went to Ursuline, but he was at Struthers, and I was introduced to him when he was at East Palestine, and I was at Springfield. So I've been trying to get him for a long time, and he's kind of like Coach Knox in the younger version, just someone with a lot of background, a lot of drills, a lot of resources, a lot of things that they're always asking. Hey, what if we did it this way? And then Jason Morrell comes back on staff. He was on staff when I got here, and then he left, and now he's back. So he'll handle our outfield for us, and he's also a teacher in the building. So he's kind of our face every day for the kids when they need stuff to go to him. And not to completely avoid your question, but Coach Knox will coach third base for us. So, someone who's done that long, you certainly give him the freedom to go out there and make those choices. Obviously, we'll talk stylistically about what games require what things, but for the most part, you really trust a guy like that to go out there and do that. And then I was a pitching coach here for 3 years. That's kind of always been my bread and butter. So I'll kind of stick to that. And so on that side of the ball, I guess I have more say in what happens. But, percentages and risk and all that stuff, we really try to tell the kids it's about throwing the ball, catching the ball. We want our pitchers to throw strikes, swing at strikes, get bunts down, get a sac fly in the air. Baseball is really the only sport where it's, you kind of dictate the game. In basketball, football, there's other plays, there's schemes and everything. In baseball, it's, hey, we want to play the game this way. And how well can we play our style of game? How well can we make the other team play, kind of our pace. So if we want to run, if we want to, throw a lot of strikes, if we want to be fast paced, like we want certain things when you play Canfield baseball to know, like, okay, Canfield baseball is going to do these things. The best example in Northeast Ohio is Buddy Dice up at Hudson. All of us down here, we call it buddy ball. Like when you play buddy, he's going to bunt you to death, and they bunt and they run. And if you're not ready, it's really awkward because you look up and they got 3-4 runs on the board. And it's like them at the ball of the infield, but that's the way they want to play, and they practice it and they preach it and they're really good at it. And if you're not prepared, then you're going to lose. And that's kind of what we're trying to do here at Canfield. It's like, hey, here are the things we want to be really good at. So when we play teams, we want to be really good at these things. And if we're really good at these things, we think we'll be really good as a team. So
I could definitely too attest to Scott Knox. Got a chance to call games in the booth with him too, and he is definitely, like I said, a great mind too in all sports, no doubt. Coach, final question for you before I get you out of here. I think it was by choice and by design you chose the background for this interview too, to have the family loaded up too, and big family it looks like back there. How much does their support mean to you and just taking on this head coaching role too, in this next big part in your journey?
Yeah, I think that goes all the way back to, when I was a kid, my dad giving up his time coaching basketball, baseball, whatever it was. My brother's the head basketball coach at Matthews High School. I have another brother who coached college golf at Notre Dame before they folded the sports out there. And coaching just kind of seems to be in our blood. My mom is a baseball fanatic. She loves the Yankees. And so like my whole life when we couldn't watch the game, we got her wireless speakers one year for Christmas. And like, I'd come into the house and like the game would be on 11 and she'd be yelling about how they have no pitching. And so I kind of really fell in love with baseball. I remember the 96 Yankees were like my first team that I really fell in love with. And she played a huge role in that. She still blames herself. The one year the Yankees lost to the Diamondbacks, was 2001. Rivera came in to save the game and she blew out a candle and they lost, and she's never lived that one down. So and then on the home front, I have a 6-year-old son. And so like all off season, he was able to come and be a part of everything with me, which was awesome. The kids are so good with him. Just for him, not really having a sibling at home, but kind of, he calls them the baseball boys, just, being going over there and those guys playing catch with them and him getting to run around the bases. He's going to get off the bus here in like 10 minutes and we're going to go over to practice. And that's been really cool, just having that connection with him. And then, of course, none of this would be possible without a wife who was willing to put up with all of the chaos. And, Laura takes on a lot in the spring. And I feel like, a lot of coaches, they end up saying, well, I have to quit coaching because of my family. And that I understand that there are days I don't see Phil and her as much as I would want to, but in the end, she wants me to do this because she knows how much I enjoy it. And so she takes on a lot of burden for me to kind of go out here and enjoy this and spend the time with the kids and do something that I'm really passionate about. And on those days where she's at the game and Phil's in the dugout, we're winning and the sun's shining, those are all really, really good days. So I do have a tremendous family structure and support from my mom and dad to my wife, to my brothers. It's really been a great ride ever since the start way back when. It feels like now it's been 14 years. So it's been a lot of fun.
I love it, man. I love it. And I can see the passion you have for it. And hopefully there's a lot of those good days coming up in this upcoming season, man. We wish you the best of luck here on the network. And we're going to be seeing you out there on the diamond here in no time.
I appreciate it, Ty. Thank you.